Hey everyone! So today I am finally going to get through the latest set of Arrtx colored pencils. Now, I bought these a while ago. You probably remember them from one of my hauls. And the reason I haven't really gotten through them is because I had literally just finished filming the 72 count one, and then these popped up, so I was like, so I was kind of salty about it. Not towards the brand, just towards my time well spent. So here we have the next set of 126. So obviously it's going to include some of these 72. Can we talk about the artwork though? It is so cute. This little rabbit thing they got going on here. So this one has almost like a more fallish vibe, you know, the pumpkins and all, and the mushrooms. And then this one's more like springish almost. I don't know, but comes in this blue, or the other one comes in a blue box. This one comes in a green box. Now, it does have two of these little cardboard things, so you have to hold it upright to lift this lid off. Oops. And they are separate. See, like how they go like that. So that is one big bummer. Because like if you were to go pick it up from the bottom, these will actually slide right out. So I don't like that. So here's a little thank you. Got their social info. And then we have the pencils. Nothing's really changed other than we have more. So it says Arrtx colored pencil. We do have the color dipped end. Barcode. I'm kind of hoping that means we're going to be seeing open stock. Otherwise, you know, most brands, especially those budget brands, don't tend to barcode. So that's what I'm hoping. Then we have the number, and this is the actual number here, and then the name. So one thing that is interesting, put those back in, is one, you could leave them in this case, but like I said, because these are separate and not glued together, it's kind of a pain. So I'll be moving these into a pencil case. Plus I have the other 72 colors. But the other thing you'll notice is when they came out with the 126, they started veering away from basically a lot of the things I criticized in my video of 72. So it was, like I said, it was quite funny. Literally had just finished filming that video, and then this popped up, and I was like, well, shoot. Everything that I was like, oh, I don't like about, they basically sort of resolved. I couldn't say they resolved all of it. So with the 72 colors, I hated the fact that with the 72, they were word-for-word copies of Prismacolor. Now, just by name and color-ish, because some of the colors were a little off from the original Prismacolor. But, I mean, gosh, the names were just so... they were exactly the same as a Prisma. And you guys know I am a huge Prismacolor fan. I have a bucket, and by no means am I exaggerating. I literally have a bucket of Prismacolors. And for those of you new to my channel, here is that bucket. These are just my spares. Oh, and see, I have a set right there. I need to get into the bucket. And I go through these quick. These are just my open stock that I go through fast. All these slots are Prismacolor, except the back one. That's like the handful of non-Prisma colors spares. So as you can see, I clearly have a favorite. So, being a little biased and not shy to say so, I was a little upset to see that my favorite pencil, and one that I use very frequently, was practically copied. I was kind of upset with that first set. However, in the new set, yeah, you still have those Prismacolor names, but the newer colors don't copy. So they started veering off and kind of creating different names. Now, I won't say unique names simply because, well, unless you're Black Widow, it's hard to say you have a unique pencil name because most companies go with the pigment that is used. You know, for example, course, now I can't find one. Chromium oxide green pigment. So that's an example. However, there are a few here that were original in the pencil family, but not original in, like, say, watercolors, which I love as well. Like, I saw quinacridone, and I'm like, ooh, I love quinacridone, anything in watercolor, for those of you new to my channel. So I did find that kind of interesting, how they kind of changed that up. And I'm wondering if it's because they had gotten a lot of flack of the naming of that 72, or if they had already planned that all along. Who knows? So anyway, what we are going to do today is I'm going to re-swatch, because in the first video I swatched 72. So we're going to swatch those 72 all over again, but we're going to keep going because now we have a whole 126 total pencils from Arrtx. So I will be speeding it up with music, as I usually do, just so you're not watching me actually swatch 126 pencils. This chart I did not create. I have purchased this on Etsy, so I will leave a link in the description below. This one I got from Becky's DIY Color Charts. There's a few others who have already come out with them, so just keep an eye out for those, but hers are very affordable. I found a few people wanting to charge like $4. I was like, I'm not paying $4 for a chart. So hers was like $1.10. So yeah, I'll leave a link. And then I may rearrange the order later, but I just wanted one pre-made for me. The Facebook group for Arrtx, I could not find the 126 one. Someone said they had one. I only found the 72 count set. So supposedly they have a free one. You can go find that too. You do you, whatever. This is the route I'm going. So let's get swatching. I'm going to be swatching in the order she has them in. And then, yeah, I will come back after everything is swatched, kind of share my thoughts and opinions, you know, and then maybe even do a little bit of coloring with them and see what we got here. So let's get to the swatching. Okay, took me a while to swatch these, and it's probably because I almost feel like I've been there, done that before, you know, seen this color palette. That said, you know, they have changed up some of the names, so not all of them are an exact name match to Prismacolor anymore, whereas the 72 count set was like, hi. But we do, I do really like this color here called Peach Puff, and then it's such an adorable color. It's like a deco pink, kind of. Now, if you're thinking, hey, do you want to do, or will you create a conversion chart to this in Prismacolor? No. Reason for that is, one, I have a feeling they're going to come out with an even bigger set, because it seems to me, and this is just my opinion, I'm not in any contact with Arrtx about this, even though I do talk to them about other products. It seems like they're trying to compete with Prisma, who isn't, you know, everyone wants to replace Prisma. So I would guess that they're probably going to try and release a bigger set. So I don't want to go and make a comparison chart, but also someone's already done it, so they can take the credit, and you know, you can enjoy the fun. So Karen over at My Colorful Country Life, I will leave a link to her channel in the description below, went through, oh my gosh, the whole ordeal of creating one, because she, like myself, is a big Prisma fan. So yeah, she went and did a comparison. She's got a huge comparison chart finding all different brands, not just this Arrtx. Arrtx was just the latest one she did, so that if you're following a tutorial that uses Prisma and you don't have it, you can do that conversion. So back to this. Overall, the 126 set isn't too shabby. I don't know why they released it as a 126. It's kind of an odd number. I do feel if they are planning on releasing a bigger set later, big if, but if they are, I feel they should have waited on these fluorescents and these metallics. They're kind of a waste of the palette space. Just my opinion though. I don't really use these myself, but I know some people do. However, I would have waited for a bigger set to throw those in there. Same with some of these blues. We've got a lot of blues here, so if they are making a bigger set, they could have replaced these with a few others, like some more browns, because we have the most piddly set of browns. But you know, Prismacolor has a load of browns and neutral tones. I mean, they have, in my opinion, again, one of the most well-balanced palettes I have ever seen for 150 colors. They do have fluorescents, and they do have metallics. I actually use some of their metallics in combinations, but it's a very well-balanced palette between all the colors. That's why I just say, if you were planning on expanding, then I would have, you know, released a few more browns instead of like all these blues, but hey, whatever. And it does seem we're kind of lacking in the lighter blue shades. We have a few, but most of these are pretty dark. See, here's some light ones, but a lot are dark. Same thing with our violets. And then our reds aren't too bad. We do have some good reds over here. Of course, you'll recognize like Crimson Lake, but that's used across multiple brands, not just Prisma. So yeah, this one, Mulberry, definitely reminds me of Mulberry from Prismacolor. Baker Miller Pink reminds me of Hot Pink from Prisma. So I haven't downloaded Karen's chart yet, but I am going to. And what I think I'm going to do, since I am a super duper Prisma fan, I love Prismas for portraits. Actually, everything. But lately, I color portraits. So I think, and one of my favorite things about them is skin. They blend just so beautifully for skin. For example, here is a Prisma portrait. I use the Prisma colors for everything except the hair. I don't use Prismas for hair. So I did the skin with the Prismas here, and I did this knit effect up here with the Prismas, And I just love the way Prismas blend. They're creamy, they're smooth, they're vibrant. Their colors are always vibrant, no matter what. I mean, look at that purple just pop. You can mix any purples from Prisma and they're gonna pop. I did this one here, another portrait. Again, the skin and everything is Prisma except the hair. This one's a lot more basic though than the other one. I was waiting for the background to get done so I could go in here and flicky out the little pine needles, but I think it would be fun to do a portrait with these Arrtx. So I'm going to download Karen's conversion chart, find the colors that are closest to what I would use. I'm thinking this Venetian red, dark salmon for sure, the peach, the blush pink, peach puff, I would say for sure, light peach, white. I want to see how that works compared to a Prisma white. I'm not seeing something close to my nectar color. So that may be one. Well, dark salmon is kind of like nectar. It's just a little bit darker, but it might be okay. I don't know. So yeah, maybe I will color a portrait with these and see what I think and kind of compare it. Because I do all my portrait skin with Prismacolor. I don't, if I'm doing like the whole portrait in like polys, I'll still do the face or the skin in my Prismas because I've just perfected a color combination and I like to do that. And it doesn't just follow with the fair skin, although that is what I tend to do. I have like another one here. This is all Prismacolor as well. And the other thing I like about Prisma is the blendability and the dragability. A lot of brands don't have the drag factor. And by that I mean you can place the color down, use a blender, and it takes a harder blender, not a softer, to drag the color across and fill in and create a natural highlight. So it depends on the type of blender to get that effect, but Prisma can do that. So this is all Prisma as well, except again the hair, but also darker skin tones I like to use my Prismas for, so I don't really branch out from Prisma. So I'm gonna give it a go. Yeah, so for part 2, I'm going to color skin on camera. Ooh, that'll be interesting. On camera using the Arrtx colored pencils. I'll find a portrait that I've been, wanting to color, and we'll test it out. And I'll do the whole portrait other than the hair, just like I would with Prismas. And then that way I can give you a real good idea of what I think in comparison to Prisma as a Prisma lover, because these are what I predominantly use them for. One final thought before I let you go. I'm actually going to keep these. Now I've moved them all into a case. Now these are a pain to use, these little, I don't even know what these are, these little box things, but because your pencils shift after you move them. But while I'm working like on a page or something, these would actually be kind of handy to just hold your pencils in there like that. You know what I mean? Like, so while I'm sitting here at my desk, this takes up so much like less space than a tray that comes in a traditional tin. They're about as wide as this clipboard, whereas this, I can fit a ton of pencils in here that I'm working on and keep them upright, not like the way they come from Arrtx where the lead is pointed down. Ugh, there's a good way to break the tips off. But I can just put them like this and grab them as I'm coloring. So I'm going to keep these on my desk and probably everywhere I go coloring now. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, doing a little first impressions. These aren't bad. Now, do they feel like Prisma when you swatch them? Absolutely not. Like, please don't think these are Prisma replacements. If you've used a Prisma enough and you swatch this, you can tell immediately it's not the same thing. That said, I would like to see how they feel and how they layer and how they work. I can feel the filler as I'm swatching them. So that is one thing I'll be curious about because I use a very smooth cardstock, and while it can take a lot of layers, if there's too much filler, that means too much buildup, and that may mean I won't be able to get as many layers and fully flesh out my skin tone like I did here. So that will definitely be something we want to test out if you're into the smoother cardstock like I am. So thank you for hanging out, checking out the Arrtx, and until next time, everyone, take care. Bye now.